Okay, welcome to the New Year, New Us edition of the Queen City Roundup, where we actually have video. Yeah,
Finally got invested in a webcam.
yeah, and you can see my glare in the background. That's my 100 leaf of all time poster, and I don't know where the glare is even going. I think it's like right on Phil Kessel's face, if I can see from here, which is weird that he's even on that list
Did you
because
see that picture of Phil Kessel with Arizona that
like
came out?
recently,
No, like it just came out like yesterday because they had their media day and all that.
I can't remember. I can't remember at all.
It's so good.
Is it as good as the Duchesne media pick from a couple years ago where he was
Oh,
just like
oh, this is great.
hating
What
life?
you're about to see just how great it is.
Oh God! All right, show me
I'll put it up in the
how
video
how
when we edit it.
I want to see how bald he is.
Oh my God, it's great.
Let me see. I'm so curious.
It is fantastic. I miss Phil.
I think we all do. Let's be realistic. We all do. Okay, so I
I
guess
just
we'll.
sent it to you.
Oh, you sent it to me. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta open my DMs. Give me a seckie. Uh, hate that we're stalling right away, but I have to look at this pick
Thought
and
you already had him open, man. Come
oh
on.
my God, receding hairline. Sweet Lord. If anything, you know what? He should just
Don't you
go
just want to
all.
hug him?
I mean, he looks like a little teddy bear, yeah.
Hmm.
But like, dude, he should just like I don't know. It's just like he looks like you want to give him a hug, but at the same time, he looks like he's got like the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. Like he's just sitting there, like
When is his
uh,
when does his contract run out? I
the,
have
2 years
I've
from now, I think.
I've Cap Brinley open. I should just
And he
check.
asks me the question when he has the resources. Do you have the answer to this?
Arizona, where are you? There you are, Arizona. Let's see. Phil Kessel in 2022-23 he becomes a free agent. Now, imagine this. He's free agent. Leafs signed him. 1 year, 1 million plays on Matthews wing. Yes or no?
Well, I mean, okay, oh yeah, that would be Matthews' contract year, right? Because his current deal would be up afterwards because his deal runs until yeah, his deal runs until 23-24.
Mm-hmm.
So his deal runs until then. That would be really interesting. I mean, like, would he still have the wheels? Like, I don't know. I like that because like he's kind of.
Phil Kessel in his heyday, no one could go in a straight line faster than him.
This is true. Hey, hot dogs are protein, okay? Like, I don't
Technically,
want. I don't want to.
technically, yes.
They pretty much are. Um,
Yes.
But I guess since we're talking about the Leafs, we are actually this is our first show where we could finally say we're gonna have hockey back. Like it's going to happen. Like next the
Nine
day
days from
after
now?
9 days from now. The day after
No, not even. Eight
but
days.
when we record next week, it's gonna be a little more real because it's gonna be literally 24 hours before.
Yeah.
So and of course let's dive of course Chris Johnson's like, you know what? Everyone's bored. Joe Thornton on the first line. Why not? Let's do it. Just go
Uh,
full
how do you
send.
feel about that?
First of all, it's training camp. It's not going to really matter. And second of all, I don't really care even if it goes into the regular season because like you you do realize that Sheldon Keefe was more reasonable with his line pairings than another former coach, which feels like forever ago when he got fired. I think he got fired in November, if I remember correctly.
November 2019.
Yeah, so a little over the 1 year anniversary. I remember during this time, I don't even remember what happened with the Leafs during this time. I remember,
It was
uh,
it was the last game was one in Vegas where Nick Patan got robbed by Fleury,
yeah,
and it led to Mike Babcock's firing.
I'm just trying to think about like what was this like this time last year um for the Leafs. I don't remember like what if they were playing a game, but anyway, that's besides the point. I'll probably like look it up in my peripheral vision here. But like again, I think a lot of people are just like, I hate this, but I don't hate this. I feel like this is the general consensus here. Honestly, again, I don't mind it. I think, especially when you hear that Joe Thornton hit 31 points with his line mates being Kevin LeBanc and Marcus Sorensen. It's
Yeah.
going great. And just to give you an idea of what both those players did last season, Kevin LeBanc, who took a 1 year gamble year. Okay, granted, he took a dip. He only had 33 points. It was a minus 33, by the way, which is pretty bad. And then Marcus Sorensen, I don't even think he's in the league anymore. I think he Like I think I saw he went to go play in Sweden. He opted out to go play in Sweden. He only had 18 points. So like if you're putting Joe Thornton in between both of those guys, like you're only really feeding one guy the puck.
Yeah.
On occasion, which is LeBanc. You have two guys that are, let's be honest, I'm not trying to like blow smoke up anybody's ass, but like I think they have a real good chance at winning the Hart and also winning even the Art Ross at this point. Because like they played the Canadian team so well last year. Like I think the only team that they really struggled against was I think maybe Winnipeg. I can't remember. No, it wasn't Winnipeg.
It wasn't Winnipeg.
I think it was Calgary.
Yeah, Calgary. Calgary.
Right.
I remember
and
they blew a lead, I think, against Calgary last year.
They blew a lead against Calgary, I think, last year. And then it was also like Dave Riddick is insane, I guess, whenever he plays the Leafs.
Yeah.
But I mean, like now, obviously they got Markstrom, who's arguably better. But like, yeah, I have a really good feeling that like Matthews' ceiling was this year. He hit 80 points in 70 games. Like keep in mind there's 12 games left, and obviously like you have to keep in mind like we didn't know what was going to happen in those 12 games, but like he was going to hit probably I think he could have hit 60.
Yeah, he was definitely going to hit.
He was going to hit 50.
Definitely going to hit 50. Like no questions
and like
asked.
If you look at the Leafs like last remaining games of the schedule, I think like aside from Tampa, they didn't really have any like
60 was a real possibility.
Yeah, exactly. And like the last player I think to score 60 was
Stamkos.
Yes, I think it was Stamkos. So
that's
like,
just off the top of my head, but
so like yeah, like, and then you look at this season, like he could score 40 in under 70. Now you have to keep in mind, obviously they're playing the same guys over and over again. Matthews kills the Habs every time he plays against them, and the Sens combined. Like I think he's 10 times. I think something about Matthews playing Winnipeg is also really good. So like it's getting to the point where it's like I have a funny feeling that like who won the Art Ross last year? I think it was Kucherov.
I think so.
It was either Kucherov. Kucherov won it
last full season or pandemic season.
Pandemic season. So it was Draisaitl.
Yeah, it was Draisaitl,
and that was 110. So and Matthews I think was. He finished. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he finished in the top 10. So keep in mind. Oh, and Finland just scored on my screen. Sorry, I just had to point that out. I don't know if it was Hiravainen or not. We'll get to those guys in a bit. But like look at the guys that are going to be not in the lineup. Kucherov's missing the whole season. You're going to have no Brad Marchand. You're going to have no David Pastrnak to start the season. Eichel, who knows what the hell he does. Like realistically, Matthews could probably jump up to top 3, and I think he could personally win it. I think the Oilers are still going to be like Messier Gretzky, like with those two at the top, but like Joe Thornton, I think has a chance to hit 40 points again. Because like
in a 56 game season, I don't know about 40, but I'd say about the same pace of like what a 40-point season would be.
And I think like I was a little torn about this because I honestly thought that Joe Thornton would have played maybe third line center and then have him maybe take faceoffs on the power play because he's so good at it. But I think what they want to do is, which I think is the good thing, is they want to kind of give more ice time to everybody else and just have Joe Thornton being like, okay, like, here's what I normally do when I take a draw. Here's, techniques you can work on. Kind of like, because Matthews and Marner are the faces of the franchise. Like, whether everyone likes it or not, which I know everyone wanted to trade Marner and throw him into the sun after Game 5. You specifically, you're not innocent here.
We don't talk about that.
No, we talk about that. But I think he has a really good chance to like, okay, is he going to score? Is he going to hit top like 30 assists? Probably. He's not going to be much of a goal scorer. He never really was.
Well, he said this year he wants to be more of a goal scorer. And I wonder how that would work.
I was talking with Thornton.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Well, the thing is, I think if he wants to, the best way for him to succeed in that is to be on a line with Matthews and with Thornton, because you have Thornton there as a setup man. And then with Matthews there, he's going to draw the attention. And then, look who's open. Mitch Marner.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the reason why, because like when Marner was playing in junior, like no one really looked at Marner for his playmaking abilities in junior. Like I was used to seeing Marner friggin'
He lit the way.
gang. Yeah, he scored like 40 goals in almost all of his full seasons in London. Like this is a guy who shot the puck. Even when he was playing like in the World Juniors, which feels like forever ago. Like that was like what 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
year that Finland won and
Hmm.
Kapanen scored the wraparound. Yeah,
Hmm.
like I think realistically, like Martyrs hit 90 points. Okay, he's not going to hit 90 points this season, but like 60 again, I think he can. He hit 67 in 59 games. So like he'll hit over 60, I think for sure within that span. But again, like we don't really know. As far as the rest of the lines, I have a little bit of a critique, and a lot of people are kind of agreeing with me on this. Jimmy VC in the top six. Not a fan of that.
I would. I know, like you can't just hand Robertson a spot, but I'd like to see how he does in that spot with Tavares
I
and with
think what they're
Nylander.
I think what they're doing with Robertson is, and I think this makes the most sense, is like with Nylander and with Kapanen, they sent them right to the AHL because they weren't necessarily NHL. And obviously,
Hmm.
like okay, I think Nylander was playing in Sweden and Finland, and like I get with Robertson, especially with people that play in the O and like in the junior leagues, that we usually see them just kind of skip and go straight to the NHL, but that's usually if they're picked in the first round. Second round is
Well,
not
Robertson too.
likely.
Like I think they would put him in the AHL, but he's not eligible for it because of their dumb eligibility rules.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. Like,
North American skaters, or no, North American players have to be over the age of 20 to play in the AHL.
yeah, it's kind of like with Braden Point, because I remember when Point broke into the to play in Tampa, like he was only like he was. They sent him back down to junior, and like the problem is with junior. That was a weird voice crack. I just remembered. But the problem is with junior is like there might not even be a junior season until February.
Yeah, and that's if it
And
happens.
that's cutting it, right? Because
Yeah,
like stuff's still out of control. So
Ontario's still in lockdown.
yeah, and like it's really getting to the point where like we were talking about it coming back in January, but it's like I highly doubt it's going to come back. I think at this point you might as well just like have the season uh maybe like condensed, maybe like I think the OHL season's like what, usually like 3-4 months anyway, from October until like the spring. Do it
It's
like
a little
late.
longer than the NHL season in terms of like months.
Yeah, because they have the Memorial Cup and they have all
Yeah,
this other
yeah.
stuff, and the not the
Or
Spengler Cup,
the
that's
no,
the
and
second
then
thing.
no, the regular season is because I know they play less games, but the regular season starts earlier. It's in like September.
Right, and it's almost getting to the point where it's like you might as well start it in like maybe late March, early April, because at that point you might have some kind of like comfortable,
Yeah,
feeling around it. Because
more vaccines would be out.
yeah, and like if the plan is that they're going to get long-term care homes and stuff in Ontario by the end of the month, near the end of the month, then like it's like okay, who's next, and then you kind of speed up that process going forward.
Yeah,
Which like again, like that's obviously a lot of logistics that we don't have the answers for, but like I think with Robertson, the taxi squad really benefits like the Leafs tenfold, because they just have so many players.
so much
They
depth.
can, yeah, they have so much depth, so much players. They basically can throw, and I don't think the taxi squad involves waivers, does it? Like you can just put a guy there or
Uh,
send them to
I
there.
don't believe so. I don't know. It was
So
it was it was weirdly worded how it was like.
But like with Robertson, you don't have to worry about waivers anyway. So if anything, like
Yeah,
he's kind of like that one guy where if they want to move him but then send him back to the list, he would be exempt, I think, from like clearing waivers or anything like
hmm.
that.
Well,
Um,
speaking of the taxi squad, one thing I like about that is what they can do with the defense. Because for the first time in God knows how long, Leafs have too many defensemen who can be in the lineup instead of not
yeah,
enough. Um, like Riley Brody is your top pairing. Obviously, I was a little nervous that they were going to put Bogosian up there with
no,
Riley,
no,
but
no.
but I'm happy to see that Muzzin Hall, Keith shutdown pairing, and
The
which I expect it to be a pairing.
The thing with Keefe is he's a more adaptable coach, and this is what you need to have, not just in hockey, but like you need this in every friggin'
Well,
sport.
that's what we were complaining about with Mike Babcock was his lack of
Yeah,
like
he was.
adapting or lack of even like experimenting. Like that's why
Yeah,
I don't mind seeing VC and Thornton in the top six in training camp because there's no preseason. You might as well try it out, see if it works. If it works, like a genius. If it doesn't work, oh well. After like 5 games, just switch it up again, and then you're and switch around some players, and then you like there's so much talent up and down this roster that I don't think there's necessarily a bad four line. Well, okay, there is a bad 4 line combinations, but you have all this talent. Might as well try it out, see how it works with other people.
yeah, and I think like what they're betting on is like VC hasn't really been like I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because like they put a lot of people with Tavares. Like they put like they obviously he was glued with Marner. They put Hyman Tavares. Marner was a line I think at one point.
Yeah,
Or it was no, it wasn't Hyman. It was I can't remember what that line was like a few years ago when Tavares came here, but like he's had Janssen played with him. Oh, I think
was it Connor
Kapanen.
Brown?
Yes. No, Brown was on the third line, if I'm not mistaken.
Anyway, it's not important. We're going.
But yeah, not important. But like what I'm saying is like the team's realizing that they have like in reality they have 4 legit centers, probably 5 if you count Kerfoot playing 3C.
Kerfoot is the center for me. I
I
don't
think
think you put him on the wing. I think he's best at center.
Well, he said he had an injury apparently, which is day to day.
I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think what we're gonna see is, and this I'm trying to like not paraphrase, but I'm trying to like put myself in Sheldon Keefe's situation. I think what he's doing is he wants VC because like he's hit 35 points. I think they want to give him a career year, and they figure here, how about you play? You want to make a lot of money on the open market? Here, play with a top 10 center in the National Hockey League, John Tavares, and he'll be like, shit, okay, because like he wasn't getting that in Buffalo.
Something tells me that this is gonna work with VC there.
I feel, and even if it doesn't, like they have a failsafe. Put him with Kerfoot. They played together at Harvard.
And then even that third line too, McCabe, Kerfoot, Hyman. That's a shutdown line. That's a line you throw out against the Connor McDavids, against the Elias Petterssons.
Yeah, and it's really good. And also like I think it's also secretly like they're trying to do something with Hyman, maybe cut his ice time because maybe they want to, sign him to a more affordable deal. And I feel like he'd be open to do it because he's such a likable dude.
Yeah.
Like with all the shit that he's done in the city, I feel like he'll be okay with doing it. Again, I don't know what's going on right now. For all I know, they could sign Hyman tomorrow. For all I know, defensively, I only have really one question, and that's who plays on the third pairing right side.
Well, that's what I was gonna get to with the.
Okay, good. So we got
with the taxi squad. Like right now, as it's listed, you have your third pairing being Lettinen, Bogosian, and Sandin Dermott as your fourth pairing. I guess your taxi squad pairing, if you want to call it that. Here's what my gripe with that is: I would put Dermott with Bogosian because Dermott can play on either side.
Yeah, that's I think what they want to do. But the problem is, where do you put Mikko Lettinen? Because they want to play him.
Well, I think Sandin and Lettinen would be just like a pairing you throw out. Like imagine both of them on a power play together, or like that's like a line that you just throw out when like you need a goal. Like I feel like that line would be really fun to watch. They'll be fun together, but definitely not in defensive situations. That's for sure.
I think with Lettinen, I think really like Bogosian and Dermott might be like kind of like the rotation. Because I don't know if you've seen what Mikko Lettinen does in the KHL, but like this dude is such an offensive threat. Like he's got a wicked shot. He skates incredibly fast. His hands are really good. He's like, I think they call him the Finnish Bobby Orr, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's fast. He's also pretty bulky. Like he's close to 200 pounds. Like he could throw his body around, I think, if need be. But like I think again with Lettinen, like they have a guy they can put on their second pairing power play unit now. Also, Wayne Simmons might get some power play time. I kind of want that.
Second power play, put him in front of the net. Let's do it. Like I said, experiment. Who cares? There's no preseason. Use like the first 5-6 games as your preseason for Keefe. see what he likes, see who works with who.
Yeah,
There's a
because
lot
like
of new faces too, so just experiment.
yeah, and this is the season to do so, right? Because like you got all these guys that are on league min deals, and like the Leafs are obviously, and obviously with the taxi squad, it helps with them being close to the cap because I think like they're only like a million or so above, which isn't bad. Like you're not like Tampa who literally made deals so they could put guys on LTI. Like you want to talk about the Leafs that did that. Tampa has $97 million they're spending. Oh shit! I dropped my phone.
Yeah, like the Lightning would literally be struggling right now if Kucherov didn't have an injury, unfortunately. And for anybody saying that they made Kucherov go on LTIR, they did not do that on purpose. You don't make your best player go on LTIR purposely.
Yeah, what you do is you do what Lou Lamoriello does, and you make one of your defenders who's really losing ice time in Johnny Boychuk, let him go on LTIR and retire in quotations.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you want to rant about Lou Lamoriello? I think you want to, because you went on a nice little thread about it.
I mean, yeah, like the thing is it's just there's so much like being said about Lou Lamoriello between versus Kyle Dubas, and I'm just like I don't see it at all. Like you can't sit here and tell me that Lou Lamoriello is the reason for the Islanders' success over the last 2 years. It isn't. If I give you what he's done in front of you, you'd be like, that's not good, and it really isn't.
I think objectively, looking at like people look at Lou Lamoriello as such a influential mind in the business, and it's because he was. But the problem is like as Father Time has proven, like it's gonna outrun you. And like I don't mean to call him old, but like okay, like let's
He's
not.
old.
Okay, he is very old. But let's not discredit what he did do. Like he got rid of the FNUF contract. Like the 2016 Lou Lamoriello, when you look at him
He's
tearing
good,
down.
but he's good for that situation. I don't want him running a team that's competing.
Yeah, I think like with Lou, like if you look at the Islanders cap situation, and like they apparently the consensus was they re-signed Matt Martin to a 4-year deal worth 1.5, which is friggin' hilarious because now they don't have a lot of money to sign Matt Barzal.
As far as I'm going to get offer sheeted.
Don't even talk about offer sheets because everyone says every year that they're going to offer sheet it. Like the NBA has more offer sheets because
the NBA is fun.
Yeah,
the NBA is a fun league. The NHL is boring.
It is. Like the only team that did an offer sheet was the Habs, and they got burned on it because Carolina was like, "Oh yeah, we'll do this."
But we're going to wait till the last day, so you can't sign any other free agents.
Which, by the way, did you see what apparently the Habs lines were at training camp?
I didn't. Oh, you mean the best team in the Canadian division?
Dude, they were awful. Like I think it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to find. I think Eric Engels had it. Okay, yeah. So here. Okay, so here's. So.
Let's see these.
Where is it? I can't find it. Okay, so I think it changed, but the first one was just awful. Okay, so this was yesterday. Okay, so first line was Jonathan Drouin, Nick Suzuki, Josh Anderson.
Anderson on the first line?
Yeah, it gets better. Tyler Toffoli on the left side. Jesperi what's double K? Kotkaniemi on the second line center with Joel Armia on the right side. Your third line, which should be your first line, Thomas Tatar, Philip Deneau, Brendan Gallagher. Why is that not your first line? If you guys are so good, why are the three players that were objectively the best players for you last year not on the top line?
That sounds like a coach who's just absolutely big braining everything.
But I digress. Paul Byron, Jake Evans, who I don't even think played a full season last year, and finally Jordan Wheel. Arturi Lehkonen. Excuse me, Arturi Lehkonen. And just to answer my own question about Jake Evans, He is a 24-year-old 7th-round pick who had 3 points in 13 games for the Habs. Over Ryan Puig, I don't know. That's a little questionable. I guess Puig's still battling injury. Their extra pairing was Frolik, Poling, and Jordan Wheel. And that's not even counting the big signing of Corey Perry. Old man Corey Perry.
That team, that's the team that so many people in the industry are saying are going to be first place.
Like, here's the thing. Why not do a line of Drouin, Danault, Gallagher, Tatar, Kotkaniemi, Toffoli? That's so much better.
I don't care. It's the Habs. They can put whoever.
I wholeheartedly believe, and I don't mean to say this is insensitive. Claude Julien was going to get fired last season if the pandemic didn't happen. You know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now,
what happened? They had 2 or 3 8-game losing streaks in the season.
They had those 2 8-game losing streaks. They lost to Detroit in the season series. I don't think they beat Detroit once.
No, they got swept by Detroit,
which was definitively the worst team.
The worst team in years.
The fact that, okay, like obviously, like I sent well wishes to Claude Julien when like he had his health scare and all that stuff because like it was scary.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I think it's one of those things where, and I've said this before with on when we do takes with the nosebleed or takes on the nosebleeds. There's no parity in the league. Everything is so transparent. All the coaches have their same strategies, and it just gets rotated.
It's a revolving door of coaches, GMs, executives.
This league
is like a list of 40 coaches that you can look at.
It's so stupid. I honestly believe that if you look at the coaches that are on the hot seat this year, you got like Julien, Torts, because I think
it's just run its course there.
Exactly, it's run its course there. I have no idea who else, like off the top of my head. I don't even know who went. Oh no, Ralph Kruger's in Buffalo still. Blashill maybe in Detroit, just because like he's been there a while and like Yzerman's gonna like probably give him a shot.
I think you want to see how he looks with the actual decent team at one point with Blashill.
I'm assuming Mike Sullivan's gonna get canned this year. That's my take on that. And then
did you see the Pittsburgh line combos?
Mike Matheson and Cody Ceci bottom pair. Make it happen.
I want to see it so badly.
Dude.
Oh my God.
And the fact of the matter is they want to put Kasperi Kapanen on the first line, and he's not even allowed to travel because there's so much travel issues with Finland. Like, it's just, so much
that whole
stuff.
team, outside of like Crosby and Malkin, you just look at it and you're just like, this team's not good.
They're what the Oilers are going to be in 3 years when Holland takes a full hold of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just, dude,
it's just, who cares? We got Draisaitl and McDavid.
Which, like, okay, at least with, like, they're like, oh, it's our Messier and our Gretzky. You know what else Messier and Gretzky had back in the day? Yari Curry.
Paul Coffey.
Jeff
Bukaboom.
Does Marty McSorley count?
No, he was just that goon that they always put on the first line for some reason back then.
Like, they had a core.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think they had like Esa Tikkanen was a big one, if I remember correctly, with the Oilers. He won a shit ton of cups with them.
Grant Fuhr,
yeah. Like, they had a core.
Yeah.
Mike Smith is not getting like okay, let's look at
Mike Smith and Mikko, what's his name?
Mikko Koskinen.
Mikko Koskinen aren't that's not good enough.
They also had Glenn Anderson and Craig Simpson, which were very good. And also Craig McTavish, Edmonton Oilers coach Craig McTavish.
Former coach.
But anyway,
do you want to make predictions on the standings?
Yeah, I was just do you want to do each division?
No, we'll just do the Canadian division.
Okay. I think we did this a little before, but now we kind of have a little bit more parity. I'm gonna go.
We'll go from bottom to top.
I don't think the Sens are on the bottom.
No.
Like I don't know. Like here's the thing. Like with Edmonton, like or not Edmonton, with Ottawa, they have so much youth that's gonna like break out this year. I think
See,
they're
for me, I
still
see it like I I know who's going to finish one. I'm very confident as to who I think is going to finish 1 and 2,
right.
and then from 3 to 6, anything goes. I could see anything happening, and then 7, I just think is going to be Ottawa.
Yeah, I think like Ottawa's gonna be that team that's like they're gonna be a lot better, but they're not gonna
I
be
think they're
like
still going to finish last, but they'll be better. They'll be in closer games.
last in the division. Yes, last in the league, probably not.
No, yeah,
I think they'll probably be like maybe like 20, like 28th, 27th, maybe within that range, just because I'm not
yeah.
really sold on their defense, their goaltending. Their offense though is legit, and also getting Stuzo. Oh, that kid at the World Juniors is just dirty. Which we'll get to the World
Hmm.
Juniors in a bit. So okay, so we'll go. Okay, I'll go Ottawa last in that sense.
Hmm.
Um, second last, the Jets. Winnipeg's. I'm not sold on Winnipeg at all.
No defense at all.
No defense, and also line
Their
eight
defense,
impending.
their defense this year is what everyone thought the Leafs defense was last year.
Oh my God, yeah.
Except it actually is that bad.
If you're a Jets fan and you know chirping the Leafs for defense, look at your own, and you'll thank me later. Um, and also like, what was their big
They
move?
would have killed for Cody Ceci last year, but this year.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't sign him, to be completely honest with you.
Hmm.
So yeah, Winnipeg would be second last. Above Winnipeg, I'll put the Canucks because listen, I thought they had a great season. Their defense took a big hit. They lost to Foley, which really sucked. In hindsight, they should have probably kept him. Jim Benning really overplayed his hand and lost at the dealing table. Um, and I don't think Braden Holtby is not. I don't think he's good anymore. Like I hate to say that because like I loved Holtby when he was in Washington, but like, dude, he looks
Last
washed.
year he didn't crack a 900 save percentage, right? Or is it just
Yeah,
over?
he was like eight. Hold on, it was like he
I think it was
finished
like eight
last.
ninety seven.
It was yeah 897. You had it.
Mm-hmm.
I would laugh if like you just look over. It's like oh it's 897. Oh I just guessed that.
No, I just looked it up a few days ago because I was wondering.
Yeah. Above the Oilers will be, or above the Canucks will be the Oilers because I mean
Cheat
McDavid,
code.
Draisaitl. Yeah, cheat code top two centers. Probably not even going to be top two centers because they're just going to put the two of them together and just let it ride. And they're gonna and Dave Tippett's going
I
to just
mean,
keep.
Nugent, like they're pretty good up the middle. Like Nugent Hopkins is pretty legit too.
Well, like here's the thing with the Oilers. Like Nuge is good. I like what I saw out of Cal Yamamoto last year. They're banking on Jesse Puljujarvi to actually have a decent season, which like I think is possible. Like Ennis is good in the top six if you need him to be there. Um, like up front, they're not bad. Defensively, like they're not horrible. I like what they did with bringing in Barry. I think that was an underrated signing.
Him on
But
on the power play with McDavid.
yeah, like he's gonna hit
Mhm.
he's gonna hit like 40 points probably, I think, with those two alone. But Dave Tippett's just gonna keep playing Mike Smith because that's his favorite goalie.
That goaltending is suspect to say the
Hey,
least.
but he's good. You know why? Because he's from Kingston, and Don Cherry loves Kingston boys.
Oh, okay. If you're from Kingston, that means you're just a good hockey
Yeah,
player.
I'll put the Montreal Canadiens next above, just
So that's
because
third.
that's third. Because look, okay, you did good. You did good things. The Perry signing, whatever, it was fine. The Frolik signing, whatever, it's minor. I like the Toffoli deal. Joel Edmondson is not a good deal. You still have Ben Sherratt on not a good deal. You have Jake Allen, who's fine, but you're paying a lot of money in that first year. And like, what? You're just gonna let Victor Mete walk in exchange for two guys on the left side that are friggin' slow and not really good in their own end. Like
Hmm.
their best defender on their left side is like what Brett Kulak, I think. And like, okay, you have Alexander Romanov, and like that's great, but like you don't know what you're getting out of Alexander Romanov because he hasn't really played that much outside of like tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah, like a lot of a lot of people say, "Oh, you can't be banking on Letnin because he hasn't played in the NHL yet." I see a lot of Habs fans banking on Romanov already, but he looks promising, but he just hasn't
Yeah,
played yet.
right. And like again, like what Carey Price are you going to see? Because Carey Price has not been Carey Price for the last couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like every second year recently, Carey Price will have like an okay season, and then he'll just be like really, really bad.
Yeah,
Like, and like the thing is
he's
like,
he's very streaky.
yeah, and like a lot of people are gonna say, oh, like Freddie was streaky too, but like, yeah, but the problem is that he had no defense in front of him. Petrie and Weber are far better than what the Leafs were last year. So like, and then they're
That's the
obviously gonna
thing that scares me about the Canadians is if you have a playoff series against them, you just run into Carey Price who just decides that he's not going to allow any goals in.
exactly. And then two will be the Flames because they're still. I don't think they got better. I don't think they got worse. They're just there. Like they got a couple depth guys. Tanev's okay.
I like the Markstrom signing in the short term.
Yeah, in the short term it's gonna work. But then again, he's only really had one like truly like proved season. Like 9-10, 9-12. He's been okay as like a backup. But like this was like the first time in the playoffs that like they really got to see him. And then of course the first team is the only team that matters.
Yeah, I just
So
I
we don't need to go into that. We just know.
mhm. We just spent half hour
Yep.
or whatever before talking about it. Um, okay, so I guess I'll go. Yeah, I agree with you. Ottawa will be down at the bottom. I've said it earlier. I just don't think there's enough there yet, and you're asking a lot of people who will be in their first, second years in the league. Um, See, this is where it gets tough. Above them, I'd probably say I'm gonna go with Vancouver just because I think Hellebuck is good enough to get them into like the out of the bottom two for
Yeah,
Winnipeg.
and like that's the thing. Like their goaltending is sick. I love their offense, even though like line is basically out the door. But
So I'm
like
gonna put
it's not going well.
I'm gonna put Vancouver there just because I feel like they got worse this offseason and I don't trust their goaltending at all. I don't trust I don't trust Thatcher Demko just yet, and Holtby is not the Braden Holtby from a few years ago anymore. Um, Going in to the sixth, no wait, to the fifth spot, then I'll put Winnipeg. Just I said earlier, just Hellebuck will not let them finish in the bottom two of the division. Number four, I have the Canadians at.
Oh, you have a step lower than I do.
Yeah, I do. I have the Canadians there just because I feel like they're a deep team, but they're deep in the sense of they have three third lines. And
Yeah.
and like they don't really have like that line that they can just put on when they need a goal and will get you a goal. And their defense too, but like Petrie and Weber's, it's just like how much more do they have left in the tank, kind of thing.
I feel like Petrie's like wine. He just gets better with age.
Yeah, I feel like his miles aren't as hard as like even Shea Weber's are.
Yeah, because like Weber's had like what 3 surgeries within the
Yeah,
last like couple of seasons. Like it's crazy.
yeah.
Um,
Weber, Edmondson is not good at all. Joel Edmondson, he's just, oh
did you say?
boy.
I love how you just said Edmonton was not good at all, and
No,
I'm
I
just
meant
like,
to say Joel
well,
Joel Edmondson. And then
once
number
upon a time they
yeah.
were.
Okay, so yeah, now third place I'll have the Edmonton Oilers. They got the cheat code up the middle. Their goaltending's a little suspect, but their defense isn't bad, and a they do have like more people like we said earlier. Nuge pretty good. They got some pieces there in the top six too, other than McDavid and Draisaitl. Ethan Bear is actually a really good signing. They
I like
they
Ethan
just
Bear.
re-signed him.
Darnell Nurse is good, even though he's kind of slow, but like he's not really paid to be a fast defender.
Hmm.
Um, I like a lot of the depth signings they did. Like the thing is like I said before, like their depth they did a great job at addressing. Their goaltending, they shot the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't trust that goaltending at all, which is
Yeah, it's
why
really
I don't see
sus.
them going higher than third. But like I said, between third and sixth in this division, it can go anyway, and I wouldn't be that surprised.
True.
Um,
Very, very true.
and second is the Calgary Flames, and first is the Leafs. We don't really need to say much about it.
Yeah, we pretty much nailed it on the head. There's no surprises there. The only good surprise is that uh, Leafs know how to draft their Finnish players
Mm-hmm.
because Roni Hiravainen and Topi Nimola. Remember those names.
Mm-hmm.
Also, VT Meetinen, I believe, is on the World Juniors as well. No, he's not. Okay, there.
No, he's not.
Okay. Well,
Anyway,
anyway.
speaking of surprises, the Toronto Raptors season though so
Oh,
far.
sweet Christ. Okay. So you ever text your family members during sporting events or like sporting contests that are going on?
I have a cousin who's a big Juventus fan who I always message whenever Juventus loses.
So I have a cousin who like will talk every form of sport. Like he's not really like into like European soccer, but like he'll watch MLS. Like he's a big Bills guy. He's a big Raptors guy. He's a big Leaf. Well, not as big of a Leaf guy as he was. So he's also a big Jays guy. I texted him last night against the Celtics, and this was after the first quarter because the first quarter they looked great.
Oh my God, Siakam was looking like pre-bubble Siakam.
It's like
Had Van Vliet was hitting threes. Everything looked like it was going, and it was like, oh my God, where's this team been all season? And then
it's
it
getting to
just
the point where if you dissect all of the team's losses, like the first one they took the foot off the gas. The second one could have gone either way against the Spurs. Philly they should have won. They should have won that game against Philly. There's no excuses there. The Knicks, okay, you beat the Knicks, whatever. The Pelicans again, they should have won that game. The Celtics, they took their foot off the gas again. This was game two. This was game two of the bubble, where they led early and then they choked. Like it's getting to the point where like my cousin was upset because of the whole handling of Flynn putting him in the game and not taking him out. I agree with that. I think they should have taken him out. I think it's one of those things where it's like, for as good as the core is of Fred and Kyle and Pascal had a bounce back game last year, like or last night.
and OG too. I'd say is part of the core.
I think what it really comes down to is this team really needs to like. I don't know if it's like because they're not playing at home. I don't know if it's just because like the way the schedule is. I don't know if maybe there's rift in the locker room or the change room because like the whole Davis situation was a little rough and like I think Nurse came out and kind of like said they need more out of Davis and they need more out of Thomas, which I get, but at the same time like you kind of need more out of your defense. Like Aaron Baines I think was like I don't know what to think of him so
He
far.
looks like he's been a shell of himself of like what he was like last year. Like he just like I'm not gonna look too much into it so early, just because like it's a new environment and all that, and like shortened preseason and all that. So whatever, I get it. But how much longer can we be saying that about him or about anyone else on the Raptors? Like, because I think like he's been getting outperformed by the limited time we've seen Alex Len out there, and I think Boucher's had a hell of a start to the season.
It's almost getting to the point where like I have a funny feeling, especially when you're going 1-5, like Nurse has to
Mm-hmm.
jumble the lineup up. Like I know they sat Siakam and they won that game. Okay, granted it was the Knicks, and I know like the Knicks are having a better season or start than the Raptors are, but like still, I think they should just say, you know what, give Boucher a starting role in the next game. Like they're playing the Suns, and like granted the Suns are like I think they're one of
Suns
the
are good
best.
this year.
They're the second best. They're tied for second in the West. So like they're tied for first in the West. Excuse me. Holy shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
literally who. It's like who would you have like topping the Western Conference. Like Clippers, okay. Lakers, okay. Phoenix, sure, why not? And like that's the thing. Like if you have like a right core of people, like you could do things. And I think what it's all going to come down to is like I think I don't know. Like I don't think this team is ready to tank yet. But like
No, you don't. You don't make the signings they did in the offseason expecting to tank.
right.
And those players probably wouldn't have signed here if
You
they
know,
knew that that's what was going to happen.
what scares me is like like when the Jays the year after they went to the ALDS or CS for the second time, and then they made all those signings and like they like I'm not trying to compare and contrast the two because like they're both different. Raptors lost two big guys. Jays only really lost one.
Mm-hmm.
So like you kind of have that contrast there, but like the Jays had an awful start to that season. I
I
don't know if
remember
you
that.
remember
It
that.
was like one in like eight or something like that.
It was like 1-13
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that's
or
bad.
something like that. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to say that this team is going to do that because like I think their next game is against Phoenix. I don't know. I don't think they can. I don't know if they can win that game. They should come out like they want to win. Then you got the Kings. They can beat the Kings. And then after the Kings, you got trying to remember who else. I think after the Kings, they got. I'm just checking right now. I don't want to keep taking time. And then they get Golden State on Sunday. And now you're gonna not only were you gonna face the team that everyone thought was dead and gone, you're gonna face the team that just had Steph Curry throw down 62. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going great. And like I think like let's listen, like even if the Raptors are tanking this year, I don't want to have that conversation yet. But if they do, like Kyle Lowry's gone at the deadline, you think, right?
No, for sure. Which would suck. I'm gonna cry. We'll have a podcast and just have like
And
it'll be
just
a therapy session.
yeah, like it's gonna be like one of those things where I mean, okay, they didn't trade Matt Sundin, but like when Matt Sundin left, everyone was pissed off because they didn't get anything for him. But then also like the guy's leaving, he's not
It's
coming
the
back.
all-time like the all-time greatest of your franchise.
Right. And like I think Lowry's probably cemented himself as like the number two best Raptor of all
Number
time.
one.
You think over Vince?
Number one.
I don't know.
Number one.
One A, one B.
No, number one.
I think 1A, 1B.
No.
No. Okay.
For
Well,
me, it goes one, Kyle, two, DeMar.
you're gonna put DeMar over Vince Carter?
Just because what he accomplished here. The only thing for Vince is like, don't get me wrong, I love Vince, but the way he left was a little, things got a little out of hand. Things were
As
ugly.
they do in the NBA.
Things were ugly. So that kind of like leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So
Yeah, it's really tricky. Um, Considering the fact that right now, like if you look at the Raptors schedule, like okay, you got after Golden State, you got Portland. I don't know how you're gonna do with that. You got back-to-backs against Charlotte. Those are two gimmies right there. They dunked on Charlotte in the preseason.
yeah, I expect
That should be two gimmies. Then you got the Mavs who they can beat because like the Mavs are okay, but like if you shut down Doncic, you're fine.
because with Porzingis being injured, this is Doncic.
Exactly. It's just Luka. Yeah, exactly. Then you got Miami right after that, which is a back-to-back against Miami, by the way, which is not going to be
The
fun.
thing is, I don't want to count the Raptors out of any games yet either, just because of like how they played last season.
I think it's like one of those things where like they rode a high, or like I don't know. I don't know what to believe with this team anymore. My favorite tweet was moments after the game. Sid Sixero tweeted the trade deadline is in the middle of March, which just goes to show you how he
It'll be
feels.
interesting, especially if they like who knows, like knowing the Raptors, they can go and pull off a 10-game win streak and we'll act like none of this even happened.
Yeah, exactly. And like it's really getting down to the point where like we don't know what's going to happen between now and like like a week or two from now. Like who even knows? Like
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors might even be able to in the spring. They might even be able to come back to Canada, depending on like how good / bad the situation is like
Yeah.
in the US, because like we don't really know what's going on. I mean, it's still bad over there, but like I think we have some room to be optimistic, especially like once we get to like, like the post holiday and post New Year, like, you know, gathering, but like who knows what the hell is going to happen. It's such a weird
Hmm.
situation. I
What do you
think
make of Nick Nurse doing like publicly calling out like basically half the team?
I don't blame him at all. This is like he knows what this team can do. Like
Hmm.
if you know a team could end up the second best team in the Eastern Conference and they start the season 1-6, and like they were arguably one game away from like back to the Eastern Conference Finals, and against Miami, who knows what could have happened, right? Like he knows what this team can do. He's only been
Yeah.
here for like 2.5 years, and like okay, granted they haven't faced a lot of adversity in terms of like you know the team being going on horrible losing skids or anything like that. They haven't had the like a horrible losing skid like they have now. But even still, you got to look at it as what are we doing here? Like we were all here to basically try and get another ring. Like we still have the core intact. Do we want to blow
There's
up the
still
core?
no, you don't. I don't think you move on from Pascal. I don't think you move on. You obviously don't move on from OG. You obviously don't move on from Van Vliet.
And
And
the
and
thing with
and
like
if you don't trade Lowry at the deadline, you bring him back on like a short deal.
And the thing about the rumors is like all like the Raptors want Harden. It's like really Harden's going to be the solution right now.
No, I
First
don't
of
want Harden.
first of all, do you really think that James Harden would want to come? Oh, I know. Okay, it's in Florida. I was gonna say like if they were playing in Toronto, do you honestly
But
think
still,
James
like
Harden
he,
would
he has
come?
2 years left on the deal.
Yeah, exactly. And like who knows what this team's gonna look like in 2 years?
And here's the thing, because because of free agency and all that. Well, first we got to bring back Masai, but I'm pretty sure that the Raptors will get that done.
Who knows what the hell is gonna happen with Masai coming back? I don't even know. I don't want to say it's not gonna happen, but like it's kind of like you kind of gotta expect the unexpected
Hmm.
with like sports because like nobody thought that Greg Vanney was going to lose
Yeah, now he's
or
at the Galaxy.
not lose but like leave.
I don't know. Well, anyways, here's the thing, right? You look at free agency, you look at the team you have, and you're basically saying to yourself, "We are a player away," which is what they are.
Right.
The Raptors are a player away, maybe even a trade away, where you don't give up one of the core pieces. Excuse me. You look at the free agent market. You see Oladipo there. Whatever. I don't think that puts you over the top, but it's something. But then you hear what Kawhi Leonard said before the season started, and I think there's a real possibility of there being an opportunity to there being an opportunity to bring back Kawhi Leonard.
I don't know. I think like yeah, like this is the Clippers like really their last shot with Kawhi. I don't know if it's really going to like be that way, but I think like knowing Kawhi, he's gonna be like I don't want to stick around if like shit's gonna continue to get bad. And if they don't get past the second round, who knows what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2 years. Oh, he has opted after year two, right? Or is it year three?
After this year, he has an opt out,
Okay,
and
which
from
will be
what he
year
said
two.
before the season started, it sounds like he's going to to opt out.
Yeah, I think like a lot can change because like everybody thought Giannis was gone, especially after they got swept or no, not swept. They lost in five. But like I think realistically, we're gonna see. I think Kawhi will probably stay. I think Ibaka would want to come back, but at that point, it's like you know it might be Chris Boucher's team for all we know. And I think Boucher's kind of going to be the guy to take the next step, especially when it comes to playing center and being that big man. And also would be a great story because like him being a homegrown Canadian talent.
Well, from Montreal, but
That's what I'm hoping. But like obviously like my cousin and I argues about this all the time. Like because Boucher had that game against what was the game before the Celtics, the Knicks. Like Boucher went off, and I was like, "Yo, this is pretty cool." And he's just like, "Yeah, if the Raptors won a lottery spot," and I'm just like, "Well, I don't know about that, but it's really weird. I don't really know what else to think.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long season. There's 72 games. Who knows what'll happen?
Yeah,
It's
there's
really
still lots
weird.
of time. Anyways,
Exactly.
we are already about an hour in, but yeah, the Blue Jays offered a contract to Springer. Apparently, what was it? It was I know it was a 5-year deal.
It was 5 years, but it was under the $150 asking price. Which, for those of you that know how to do math, which is totally not me, because I am actually ass at math. If you divide that by 5, that's about 30 million a year. So I would like to think that they offered him 25 a year. But I saw something earlier that Ken Rosenthal said. I gotta find it because I liked it, and now I gotta go through my uh like the stuff that I liked on Instagram. But it was really, really interesting, and I really think that this is something that we need to look at as baseball fans. So yeah, so this is on 590 earlier today. Uh, so Ken Rosenthal said, "I might eat my words, but I think the Blue Jays are getting one of these guys and maybe multiple. I just have a feeling they're too involved and they're too eager not to get somebody they want." So with that in mind, are they going to get George Springer? No. George Springer is not going to come to be a Blue Jay because he grew up in New York. He's a Mets fan. He's like, I think like 20, 30 minutes away from Citi Field. So with that in mind, he's going to want to play with the Mets, especially because like
Who were the other names on that list?
Trevor Bauer, who they talked to on New Year's Eve,
Mm-hmm.
JT Realmuto, who they've kept tabs on. They also had Liam Hendricks
At their
visit their
facility.
facility, which I would really like because Liam Hendricks, for many people that don't remember, was a J at one point in time. I think I remember that.
Good setup guy / closer.
I think if they sign him, he's going to be the closer.
Oh yeah, because Giles is
Um,
out this year.
and like yeah, and they're not going to bring Giles back, so like the closer could be Dolis, but I think it's probably going to be Liam Hendricks just because he had a good, like he was amazing the last 2 years in Oakland.
He was.
Like he had okay, he was more or less the closer later in the season because I think Blake Trinan was their closer. But yeah, once upon a time, the Blue Jays got him uh, from the from the Kansas City Royals at the time in exchange for Santiago Nessie, who didn't really turn into anything. So how ironic is that they got him the same year that they played, or they got him in the offseason before they played the Royals in the ALCS that year. That was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess because like the Royals bullpen at that point was just gross. And like he didn't make that much. He only made like 5.3. If you give me not Ken Giles, if you give me Liam Hendricks like 3 years at what would that be? 3 years at I was gonna say give him 3 years, 8 per, so 3 years, 24 million. That's a fair number for a closer.
Yeah.
Like I think that works. And like also like I think realistically, I don't freaking know who that would be. I'm thinking Real Muto might be the guy. Because like he's the guy that nobody's talking about. He wants to
See,
come here.
I
And
don't, I don't
everything
know.
keeps
I don't
wrong
know
from here.
about Real Muto.
It's really weird. I think if they get Real Muto, they'll trade Kirk. But apparently that Cleveland's been calling them about Kirk for like months. So
I
I
would
don't think a Lindor trade is happening. I think that ship has sailed. I think Lindor going to the Dodgers makes the most sense. Just because the
just
Dodgers have
give the Dodgers everybody.
exactly right. Like
Mm-hmm. Might as well, right?
the Dodgers are going to be the new Yankees. I
Mm-hmm.
totally think that. Like the Yankees were dominant in the 90s and early 2000s. The Dodgers are going to be dominant in the 2020s. 100%. because their core is great, and then they got like so much youth there. You throw in a Francisco Lindor and lock him up right away, like you did with Mookie. Oof, it's gonna be gross. But as far as like the Jays, I feel like they're gonna get probably Real Muto, probably Odorizzi. I'll say those two, and I'm gonna say I think they get DJ. I think they get DJ LeMahieu 100%.
I know
Because
that's
like
that's a
the
drum
thing
you've
is,
been beating.
because the thing is okay. Two things. Number one, I know the Dodgers have been clamoring to get him because they want another power bat, or not a power bat. He's not really a home run hitter, but he gets on base. He gets on base. He hits. He's got batting titles, Gold Glove. He's finished in the top 10 in MVP voting the last 2 years. Top 3 last year. You add him to the lineup, like the Dodgers become even more dangerous. But his defense is not where I think they want it to be. I think what's going to happen is the only way that he goes to play in LA is if he plays third, because they're not going to move Gavin Lux unless they do a trade for Lindor.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can move Seager to third if you wanted. Like you could do a whole lot with that. With the Jays, it's so interesting because he could play every position in the infield but shortstop and catcher, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you don't trust Vladdy at third, which apparently he had a lot of errors playing winter ball, put him at first, and you could put DJ at third. Or if you want to trade, they both played the same position. They can say, "Hey man, this is how you do defense." And like I know DJ's more or less a second baseman. But like, even if you want to go ahead and maybe make a trade for another guy, I read maybe Joe Musgrove could be a pitcher that the Jays want, and like maybe they trade a Randall Grichuk to do it. I would be okay with that, to be honest, just because like you could have Musgrove going in as your like 3-4 guy with a Ryu and like maybe a Pearson and an Odorizzi.
Yeah.
But like it's so. I want everything to just hit the fan right now. Apparently, Sugano, that Japanese pitcher Sugano, he is supposedly supposed to make a decision by the end of the week. I think the 7th, which
is that the one that the Blue Jays are interested in? Because I know there's 2 of them.
Yeah, it was Sugano, and then it was Hyun-Sung Kim. But Kim went to the Padres.
Yes, that's it.
So, I'm hoping that stuff picks up. I know baseball free agency is usually slow, except for last year. But like, I really don't know what the hell's going to happen between now and next year and the next couple months. It's weird that it better pick up because spring training is going to start, if all goes well, still in the middle of February. But like, I still think that spring training gets pushed back and like they start the season maybe in May. Because if they start the season in May, baseball is going to be laughing with fans. Because like they're going to do it regardless.
I was just thinking, 2020 was like the first year in God knows how long that I haven't stepped foot inside the Rogers Center.
Yeah, I think the last time, actually, no, what facility? I didn't go to BMO at all of 2020.
I did. I went to it.
I went
no, not in 2020. The only stadium or anything I went to in 2020 was the KeyBank Center in Buffalo because I went to go see a Leafs game there.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that story. You met your buddy, you met old Henny there.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yep. But yeah, I'm hoping that shit picks up soon. Do you want to touch on the World Juniors? And
I know you said you wanted to rant, so the mic is yours.
Oh, okay. So let's dive into this. So the World Juniors have been a lot of people have been very vocal about the World Juniors for the last I don't want to even say like year and a half, probably like 2 years, because like, there's obviously a lot of stuff going into it. And the biggest gripe that I had, and I think you can agree, is there's no structure in terms of bringing in new countries. Like, with Germany, and with like Austria, Switzerland, Slovakia, like they're thrown to the wolves against like the top teams, and they're just like, okay, like we'll just eliminate them right away. Why not do this. This is so unheard of, right? Why not do 2 divisions for the World Junior Hockey Championships? You can do Division 1 with your Canadas, your Swedens, your Finlands, your Germanys, and yes, I'm putting Germany there, and I'm getting to that in a minute.
Your Russia's, USA.
Yeah, exactly. Like make that the group of death. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your Division 2 for the teams that you want to help grow the game, because that's what you want to do, right?
Your Slovakias,
Yeah, your Slovakias, your Austrias, your
Latvias.
Denmarks, all of these teams that you want to kind of tap into those markets, because you know the IIHF wants to do that.
No, the IIHF wants you to believe that that's what they want, but they just want the money.
Yeah, that's what they really want. But like, realistically, they want it for money, and we know
Mm-hmm.
the president is like the president of the IIHF apparently is like a total like greedy prick, which kind of makes sense why Bettman doesn't want to really do business with them. But like, I don't really know what to think. And another thing that I want to say, I don't like blowouts. I think blowouts are boring.
Yeah, no one wants to see
Um,
16-2 again.
Yeah. I think the suspensions should be handled a lot better. The Brain Schneider one should be more than a game. I think it should have been 2 to 3 in that sense. But of course, hockey doesn't know like what to do. And
Yeah.
another thing, this is my last thing. Just because a team did not qualify, it does not mean that they're not ready. Germany is ready. You saw what they did. Like this
They almost
is a
beat
team.
Russia.
Yeah, they almost beat Russia in a 2-1 game. And of course, Damien Cox, they only had 12 shots on goal. Well, guess what? One of them went in, dumbass. And second of all, you don't have any right takes. They're in like the Toronto Sun category of just people that are so stupid and have no takes whatsoever in the Steve Simmons club. This is the same guy. Remember when Tampa won the cup and he was just like, oh, it wasn't as challenging because like, you weren't traveling and you were in a bubble and all this shit and all that shit. And I'm just like, It's the same game, my guy. Like, what are you smoking?
So,
I just think people that are like Ray Ferraro that have played the game should say stuff like that. People that have not played the game, which granted I have not, you have not at a competitive level, we should refrain from saying that.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a piss poor effort and they had like if they lost like 6-0, okay, I understand. But like they were good. I don't understand. People are just so stupid.
Before we wrap up, something really quick. I saw this. This is interesting on Twitter. Joe Pompliano tweeted this. He's not verified, but he's like a sports business writer for readhuddleup.com.
Just kind of juicy.
He's not verified, but so I don't know how true this is. But anyways, to offset financial losses due to COVID-19, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the NBA is considering adding 2 expansion franchises. What cities should they pick? Give me 2 cities quickly they should expand to.
Vancouver obviously is one, because they tried it and obviously it didn't work, but I think that I would do really well. Are you doing it in the context of Canada or are you doing it within the context of everyone?
Everyone.
I think Seattle, everyone would say, just because like the Sonics and whatnot. I think that makes the most sense. I feel like Vegas would be one of them just because like everyone's going to Vegas now.
In terms of business, what would make the most sense is Seattle and Vegas.
Yeah, like Seattle and Vegas make the most sense. I don't think they'll ever expand.
You do Seattle, Vegas, then you move New Orleans to the east, which is because they're in the west for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly. That one's really, really weird.
Yeah, and then if you want to go for most fun, I'd say I'd put Vancouver.
I kind of,
and I still think Seattle would be the fun way to go, just because.
Oh yeah.
just because of the history there.
Yeah, like I think that's definitely what it needs to be. Like there's a lot of room for expansion.
Hmm.
I feel like I'm surprised they haven't expanded to Kentucky, just because like
They're big on basketball there.
exactly. Like I feel like that would kind of be one. I feel like Kentucky and Seattle, like Kentucky, Seattle, and then Vegas, just because everybody goes to Vegas. That's what I think.
Anyways, that's everything.
Do you also want to give your condolences to Kim and Kanye for their divorce?
Oh yes, that's something that dropped. Like we can never get something big that drops right before we record that's sports related. It's always stupid shit like this. Kim and Kanye getting divorced.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! What?
What?
Dr. Dre apparently has had a brain aneurysm. What the hell?
Oh shit.
Jesus. Whoa. That's crazy.
All right.
But yeah, I think that's it for our show.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah, as usual, follow the Twitter and Instagram at Q_City Roundup. Or no, at Queen City Roundup on Instagram.
Yeah. Queen City Roundup on Instagram at Q_City Roundup on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
You find both of our Twitter usernames or Instagram names in the bios. Send us a follow.
At us, make us famous.
Yeah. I'm trying to reach 500 followers. I'm only like 14 away. So let's make it happen.
I'm close to I believe it was 430 something.
All right. So yeah, let's get us both to 500. And that's everything. So
yes, sir.
We'll see everyone later.
For sure. Y'all take care, stay safe, all that shit. I'm doing something cringy. What the hell?
See you next week.